It creates life. It causes people to travel vast distances to quench its thirst. Now imagine if that energy is directed inward, focused. Major figures, what someone could achieve. There is no limit to what someone could do. Sexual energy, when under one's power and control, is like a river subdued by a dam and directed accordingly out with a purpose. But if it isn't subdued consciously, it will break out and cause major destruction. The perpetual law of sexual transmutation, something that's not talked about often. Everything is energy. Anger, lust, jealousy, sadness, love. Every set of emotions can be transmuted, converted into something constructive or destructive depending on the motion of your thoughts. Sexual energy is one of the most potent emotions we can use to bring ourselves to success in any endeavor. That energy is so strong that it can create life. But when it's not understood, not channeled, not respected, it can also destroy lives. Most people are taught to give in to their impulses, to release as soon as they feel the surge. But imagine taking that same energy and focusing it like a laser. That's the law most don't master. That's why most men fall before they rise. The same fire that ignites creation can consume you. And this isn't just about sex. This is about desire. Will. The engine that sits at the base of your spine, the very fuel of your being. When it moves up, when you learn to carry it, not leak it, you tap into power most only dream about. Your clarity sharpens, your voice deepens, your stride shifts. You no longer chase, you attract. Because you've stopped wasting your essence. You've started using it as leverage. This is why kings meditate. Why warriors retreat. Not to escape women, but to master the energy women awaken within them. You can't lead anything if you're a slave to everything. That's why this is a discipline, a path. And those who walk it shine. They glow different. They don't chase what's beneath them because they're too busy building what's within them. You can feel it in their presence. Solid. Still. Unbothered. Not because life's easy, but because they've learned how to command their core. Sexual transmutation isn't denial, it's redirection. It's realizing that every urge is an invitation to build or to break. And when you choose to build, every time, you construct a version of yourself that's unshakable. Most men walk around leaking energy like a cracked pipe, not realizing why their plans don't work, their drive doesn't last, their spirit feels hollow. It's not the world, it's the leak. It's not her fault, it's the pattern. See, when your energy is scattered, your life is too. But when it's gathered, centered, everything else starts aligning. Money, health, purpose, relationships. Because you're not chasing, you're embodying. You're not begging, you're becoming. This is the secret the system won't teach you. Because a man who governs his own energy is free, and a free man is dangerous. He can't be manipulated by ads, trends, lust, or lack. He knows what he's worth because he stopped giving it away in drips and drops. He invested it in silence, in goals, in God. Until one day, he walked into his destiny fully charged. And when you arrive fully charged, you don't need to convince anyone. Your presence speaks louder than your words. Because you mastered the root, you harnessed the force, and now it moves through your words, your walk, your work. That's not ego, that's alignment, that's divine fire flowing through a vessel that finally understood its own value. And here's the truth, any man can access this, but not every man will. Some are too distracted, too reactive, too addicted to the temporary. But those who choose this path, those who practice stillness, hold their seed, command their mind, they become rare. And what's rare is always remembered. So if you're listening to this, understand, you were born with power. You were born with fire. And you get to choose every day whether to let it consume you or carry you. The world tells you to release, to indulge, to prove your manhood by how much you lose. But the wise, the ones who change the game, they conserve, they build, they transmute, because they know Nothing is more dangerous than a man who stopped spilling his power and started planting it. Every urge is a seed, every pause is a prayer, every decision is a doorway, and every drop of discipline adds up to destiny. This is the way. Not of suppression, but of supreme direction. Use it wisely, because you already have what you need. The real question is, can you hold it long enough to become who you were born to be? You don't chase power, you preserve it. You focus it. You live in alignment with it. Think about the times when you felt strongest, focused, certain, alive. It wasn't because everything was perfect. It was because you were aligned. Your spirit wasn't divided. You weren't giving pieces of yourself to people who didn't earn it, to desires that didn't serve you. And when you withhold, when you stop chasing pleasure and start building presence, something shifts. You become magnetic. They can feel it before you speak. That calm strength, that restraint, that stillness. It commands the room. You're not just a body anymore. You're a force. But society has no interest in teaching that. Because a man in full control of his energy can't be manipulated. He can't be sold distractions. He doesn't crave approval. He isn't moved by every image, every temptation. He sees it. He respects its pull, but he chooses differently. Because he knows the more energy he stores, the higher he climbs. This isn't celibacy. This is conservation. This is war strategy. This is mastery of self. We are not told this in school. We are not told this at home. We're told to chase, to conquer, to indulge. But no one says, the greatest men don't chase, they channel. Their empire is built in the silence of restraint. Every brick is laid by focus, not fantasy. Every wall is held together by purpose, not pleasure. And what about women? They too carry this power. A woman in full command of her energy is irresistible. Not because of how she looks, but because of how she glows. Her boundaries are firm. Her standards are non-negotiable. Her presence, it awakens, it heals, it inspires. Together, man and woman, fully aligned, don't just create children, they create legacies. So why waste it? Ask yourself, how much have I lost chasing what doesn't feed me? How much have I given to people who never deserved access to my light? How often have I mistaken lust for love, distraction for destiny, pleasure for peace? The answers don't need shame, they need awareness. Awareness is the beginning of liberation. When you become aware, you no longer move impulsively, you move intentionally. You no longer leak, you pour into yourself. You no longer chase, you attract. You become the storm they feel before it arrives. You become the answer to your own confusion. Energy never dies, it only transforms. Your job is to be the one guiding that transformation. Your mind is the wheel, your body is the vessel, your spirit is the engine, pointed somewhere worthy. The most successful, the most magnetic, the most fulfilled, they all mastered the flow of their inner current. They stopped arguing with their desires and started directing them. They transmuted pain into power, rejection into redirection, loneliness into leadership. So when you feel that urge, that burn, that wild need for release, pause. Ask yourself, what could this become if I don't waste it? What would happen if I sat with this energy and let it build? What project could I finish? What goal could I hit? What part of myself have I been avoiding that's trying to rise? Because that's what the fire is. It's your soul knocking. It's your higher self asking you to listen. Will you run from it, or will you let it refine you? You don't need more motivation, you need momentum. And momentum starts with one choice. Hold your energy. Not forever, but long enough to feel your power again. Long enough to reconnect with why you're here. And once you feel it, you'll never move the same. The clarity hits different. The silence becomes sacred. The grind becomes joyful. You stop begging for love and start attracting loyalty. You stop fantasizing about purpose and start living it. Your old patterns feel foreign. Your old addictions feel small. Because once you've tapped into your real power, you can't pretend you don't know. You can't go back. You've tasted your own potential. And now you're a different breed. Quiet, focused, unshaken. And when people ask what changed, you'll smile. Because they wouldn't understand that it was never about the world. It was always about you. You finally chose to rise.